The Boise, Idaho housing market has crashed. No, we won't get that serious, but it was almost like a light switch hit, and things have drastically changed in just the past few weeks. We're seeing this all across the Treasure Valley. So what we wanted to do is hit this kind of fall edition. We're going to not only talk about the housing market, but we're going to split it into segments from luxury all the way into kind of entry level. We're going to talk about some of the areas, cities that are getting affected the most. And we also really want to give you kind of our 2 to 3 year projection of what we're going to see here in the Boise area so that you can feel comfortable or uncomfortable with your move here. So if you are thinking about moving here, this is a video that you're not going to want to miss. And we're getting after it right now. What's up, everybody? My name is Jackson Wilkie.
Sean Tomich.
That's right. We are the Living in Boise team. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to learn everything about what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, play, and the housing market here in Boise, make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. And we are honestly getting phone calls, emails, texts every single day from people moving and relocating here. We absolutely love it. So thinking about moving anywhere in the Boise area, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, we got your back when moving to Boise, Idaho. All right, so Sean, this is something we've been kind of noticing the past few weeks, but take me back. When was kind of this shift, and what did you really see happening?
So about 4 to 6 months ago, this market was white hot. No matter.
And it's the middle of September right now, end of September. So just to give you the guideline, in case you're watching this a little later.
So March, April, May, I mean, it didn't matter what your price point was. You had multiple offers, you had competing offers, you had cash offers. If you were in the 300,000 or 400,000 range, you probably had 40 to 60 offers on a home. I mean, and I'm not joking at all. Like that's fact.
People were selling dog houses for like 150 with views of the mountains.
It was crazy. And in fact, I mean, I have a team of eight agents, and we went, 4 months without even being able to get a contract accepted for a client because it just was that competitive.
And real quick, how healthy or unhealthy is that?
In my opinion, it's very unhealthy.
Yep.
It is not a healthy market for that. It really imbalances the market. When you have a very big shift one way or the other, it really sends ripples throughout the market that will last for a while.
And Idaho's different. Like, people moving here come from big, large cities with large employment. And obviously, crashes and stuff affect different areas differently.
Correct.
But Idaho's one with not as, it's obviously gaining in its employment options, but it can really see effects a little bit harder. So with that being said, let's kind of dive into this. Now you're calling this more of a healthy market, right? So in your opinion, what does that kind of mean and mean for these buyers coming in now?
So, I mean, what they say is a balanced market is 6 months worth of inventory on the market. And so for the last few years, even, we've been going along with a couple weeks worth of inventory on the market. And that, I mean, to kind of explain how bad it is, or bad it was. But
yep.
But right now, so what happened? I'd say this shift probably happened honestly about 30 days ago. And this market, it literally shifts on a dime like that. And your agent's got to know what's going on in the market at that time to make sure that your offer, your agreement that you're sending over is going to be successful, because it's all dependent on what's going on in the market today, not yesterday, today.
Yep.
And so, about 30 days ago or so, right when back to school hit, that's when our market always experienced a softening in traffic. Not really necessarily a huge price dump or anything like that, but traffic slows down. Everyone's traveling, getting those last, plans done and trips with their kids, and then trying to get their kids back into school. And so prior to that happening, everyone from out of state that was going to make the move this summer was hard pressed to make that move before school. And they did a lot. I mean, just tons of them did. But then once their kids got into school, all of the high end shopping that was coming from all of these states shut off.
Yep.
Almost shut off. I mean, it's still there. There's still people buying. There's still people shopping. But that amount of traffic has been greatly reduced, especially in the higher end.
And so would you say, too, that not only just 30 days ago in schools, but also, hey man, a couple months ago, which I can't believe how many clients we who moved from out of state we got accepted to, because you are kind of behind the eight ball moving from out of state
Right.
sometimes. But Sean and the team just reluctantly just won't give up and made it happen. But also there was a lot of frustrated buyers who made offers on multiple properties. Is that kind of an effect we saw too? They wanted to just
Yeah,
like they
we
got tired.
actually, yeah, so a couple things. We had a lot of people that just got frustrated after making several offers and just, threw their hands in the air and said, forget it, I'm going to go rent. And then people that were they thought, hey, we're moving to Idaho. We're moving to Idaho. And then thought, oh, it's going to be easy. Come in, try to buy. And it was not easy. In fact, for some people, it was not even possible. And so they just said, oh, we're moving to Texas. We're
Yeah.
moving to whatever the next probably red state was that they were looking for, because that's the majority of people
Yep.
that are coming in, are people fleeing from um, political things
Yep.
going on out
100%, and just
there.
we like to paint the honest picture, and that's what
Yeah, yeah,
Idaho
absolutely.
is for sure. So, with this, um, we'll get into kind of projections at the end. So you guys stay tuned to the end and comment down below if you've had these thoughts of moving there and you're kind of unsure what's going on, because we'll vet those and answer them as well. But
Right.
with that being said, what were some of the hottest areas to really get into for some of these buyers? What areas were they really looking for? So anybody watching this who's still thinking of moving to Boise, what are some of the areas that the clients from out of state have just been loving?
Well, I'd say that probably the most popular area is, I'm going to say it's Nampa, and I'm going to say that because of price point.
Yep.
Nampa is an area where you can come in and you can still get in the threes. There are homes in there that you can still get in the 300,000s, a nice entry level home, and then you can get a mansion for like 600 or 700 grand that in
Yep.
the middle of Eagle would be 1.5 million. So people have been just buying up Nampa because, number one, you can afford to. There's a lot more room there. There's a lot more room to grow there. So I'd probably say, because of price point, I would say it would have to be Nampa.
And do you feel with that, a lot of these people moving here, again, they don't mind a 20, 30-minute travel. For
Right.
local Idahoans, we're like, oh my gosh, 30 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
that's going to bode well for future. We'll talk about projections and stuff, but that bodes well for, hey, and I guess I'll just ask you the hard question. Do you feel like there's this huge crash coming to Idaho anytime soon?
Absolutely not. So I was in the middle of the crash that happened
Which shaped
back
our
in.
minds.
Oh yeah, that started the recession. I mean, and if you were in business or in that era, it was a tough time, man. That
Especially in
that recession
Idaho.
was not a joke. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I was in business at the time of the recession, so there was a lot of contributing factors, very big contributing factors that created that implosion and explosion of the market. And those factors are not even at all remotely close to what's transpiring today. And the biggest reason is because, as we all know, if you remember back, is that the subprime lending that was going on, that created that environment, was everybody could get a loan. If you could fog a mirror, you could get a loan. You could
Yep.
buy a house. It was interest only. It was an adjustable rate mortgage. I mean, it was just unreal. The products that they were putting people into that should have never been in them, which created an enormous foreclosure market. It just destroyed the market, etc. Today's buyer is 100% qualified, credit qualified, has money in the bank, has reserves, and is a real, true, qualified buyer. So when they buy that home, they're not going to walk away from it.
Yep.
Even if the market dumps, they're not going to walk away from it because they can still afford the home. So
Yep.
that's a lot of what developed the market that we had, and that's not at all what's happening today at all.
Yeah,
We
there's
had our
been a
prices go up very, very high, very, very fast. They're going to stay there. They're going to continue to grow over the next few years. But you're not going to see something like it. You're not going to see it just drop. And there's a few reasons for that. And one of the biggest reasons is because we have the room to grow. We have so much room to grow here. It's unreal.
Yep.
You get 5-10 minutes out of town and there's nothing. It's still nothing, like a lot of nothing.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot of
construction
that
is
in town too.
yeah. And it's just construction is just going nuts here. It's a beautiful place to live. Everybody wants to be here, and it's gonna keep going for a long time.
Yeah, and the main reason I bring that up, one, Idaho, it hits different there. And I remember living through that too. And at that time, I was up in north in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And I mean, there was no jobs. Everybody I knew either went to North Dakota to work oil fields. I went down to Texas to work power lines. Like, that's all the options we had.
Mm-hmm.
But the big difference was, and this is crazy because a lot of our clients are coming with that in their mind, and we hear it every day in the comment sections are just blown up with it. And I'm sure we're going to get it again. Is I'm waiting for this market to crash and I'm going to buy everything, because that's what we heard back in, they say '06, '08, but the crash really happened in like 2010. Things were starting in '08. But really, when I listen to a lot of economists and stuff now, because you get shaped by history, right? So our
Yep.
history, we got hit by the crash. And through the last 100 years, there's really the only time the housing market ever went down was the Great Depression. It only went down 2%.
Mm-hmm.
So we've never in 100 years, even through some of the hardships, seen crashes. Do a lot of the investors and people out there, and I'm not an investor, I just kind of like going off of when I see some of the biggest real estate investors, and not even real estate, but just in people, they're pouring money into the housing market. That's kind of what makes me go, okay, why are they doing that? And the new thing that's shaping the U.S., what we're seeing, and especially in Idaho, is COVID. They want red Republican, they want a house, they want space, and they don't need to work from a city anymore. And so, yes, they're coming in with enough money, and equity in these houses is just ridiculous. So,
Right.
with that being said, we're having 30% increases like month over month. That's probably not going to happen anymore. But, what would you say in the next few years? We're going to still see this, 5, 10, 15% increase, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. So right now, like I said, we're seeing a little bit of a softening right now as far as traffic is concerned.
And that's Idaho.
Yeah,
Fall
yeah,
time was always like this. It's nothing
right,
new.
right. The agents that put houses on the market too high, which they shouldn't have done, they should have priced them correctly. There's been a lot of price dropping, price correction, et cetera, et cetera. But you're not seeing everyone have to drop price to get houses sold. That's not happening at all. So as far as like a projection of the next couple of years, like I said, we're softening up a little bit right now. Once spring hits, that's gonna just take off again, like it always does.
Okay, so let
Um,
me stop you
so
there.
last
If
year,
I got a few months, I don't need to be in my house today, tomorrow. In the Boise in market, when is the best time for me to buy? Maybe get in to be most advantageous. Is it now? Is it wintertime?
nope, it's right now. It's absolutely 1,000,000% right now. It's because of what's happening right now. We have inventory. People have choices now. You can actually go and make an offer on a home and actually get that home,
Mm-hmm.
which 4 months ago, good luck, it wasn't happening.
Yep.
So no, this is as far as for a buyer, this is it, man. If you want to get in here within the next 2 to 3 months. Like no joke. That's not me telling people it's because I want more business or anything like that. This is this fact that right now, if I were buying my own home, I'd be buying it between now and probably the end of November.
Yep.
Is what
It's
I
it's funny because I have a friend who works coastal stuff and vacation. He said people come in the summer months, they want to buy houses right now, and then everybody sees that come fall, everybody, a couple people go and list their beach houses, and all of a sudden there's just no sales on it. It's kind of that
right.
that high time. So you can really time it well if you're not in that absolute rush. I've
Okay.
read a couple different, because I was like, I gotta see what's happening here in Boise, like future wise. I mean, Amazon's coming here. There's major
Yep.
companies, tech companies. So in the next 10 years, which is insane to me, they're calling for almost 1 million more residents just in South Idaho alone, in Boise, Idaho alone, not South Idaho, but Boise.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about that stretched out over 10 years, these spring times, these summer times are going to be crazy again. And so you can optimally and advantageous jump into a fall winter market to try and get ahead. But there's never, a perfect time. Sometimes it just happens in spring, summer, and we can help there too.
What I will tell you is that successful people take action.
Yep.
Successful people make things happen, and they don't sit around and wait. And the real estate market has been proven over time to be the absolute best investment that you can possibly make out of all investments. It's
Yep.
been proven to be the best, most sound investment that there is. And that's why when people say, "Oh, I'm going to wait, I'm going to wait, I'm going to wait," I encourage them. I say, "You need to get in, you need to get in, you need to get in."
Yep.
You can wait all day long and you can watch everybody else making all this money on their houses when they sell them. But that's one of the have people come in and we have this conversation all the time about waiting. About, hey, Sean, I've got to wait a year. I need to wait 6 months. And then I show them on paper. I say, okay, this is what you're going to pay in a year.
Mm-hmm.
You can either pay $100,000 more now or $100,000 more in a year for that home that you want right now, or you can buy it right now and you can have $100,000 in equity in a year. Which would you like?
Yep. And I don't foresee, and nobody predicts the interest rates getting any lower than they are historically
Well,
right now too.
We
So
actually
you
had
got
a meeting yesterday. We
Yep.
actually had a meeting with our lender yesterday, and rates are actually going up like today.
Yep.
Which wasn't projected until the beginning of the year.
Right.
So that's going to mess with the market a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody that was, they had this price in mind, they had this payment in mind, and if you took a rate up a little bit, all of a sudden that just completely changed their plan.
Yep.
And so it has a huge role on what goes on in the market. And so right now rates are starting to tick up. They're going to tick up a little bit, not a lot. Like, it's not crazy, but it does have to go up. That's what the Feds are doing. And it's going to go up a little bit between now and the end of the year, and then a little bit probably more next year, unless they have to bring it down to re-stimulate the economy. But that's going on right now, and that does take an effect.
Yep, it can definitely. So these are the questions we love to have privately and personally too, because there is no perfect time situation, but we can talk these things through for sure and show you kind of hot areas and help with these things. So a lot of people moving here. These are some of the hottest real estate markets in the country. So we don't see a lot of big changes, negatively coming in the next, 3 months, 6 months, or 5, 10 years. So if your goal is getting to, Boise, Idaho, then, reach out to us. We can have these conversations. We can show you different areas and really find your perfect spot here in the Treasure Valley. But the only way we can help you is you got to reach out. You got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, we got your back. We're moving to Boise, Idaho. Until the next video, guys, we'll catch you later.
Thanks.